and thank you all for being here. This is Inside OPRF Museum, and I am coming to you live from OPRF Museum. And this monthly virtual program is a chance to look at different sorts of things in our collection, different sorts of things about our museum. And today I am looking at kind of our virtual museum, which is really our website. So this, if you can see my screen here, you all should be able to see our website. This is the home page. And this might be a page that's familiar to you all, but today I want to go through some features here that you may or may not know are available on our website, and some things that might inspire you to say, I've been looking for this and I didn't know that you had this resource on your website, or I've been looking for this and I don't see that you have it on your website and maybe you should. So again, this is kind of the virtual version of some things that you can see in the museum, or some things that you can do at the museum, along with some very original content. And I want to make sure that you all know about some resources on here that are unique to this website. So I'm browsing through the homepage first, and I want to say that this probably looks different whether you are normally using a desktop or an iPad or a smartphone. Our website is adaptable so that you can always see the same content, but depending on the size of the device that you're using, it'll be shaped a little bit differently. So depending on what you normally use to visit our website, you're probably familiar with the way that it looks, but you might not be familiar with how it looks currently. So up at the top here, we have a bunch of different tabs that all drop down to give you lots more places to go on our website. And I'm going to take you through each of these tabs and pick out one or two pages to highlight here. But before I do that, I want to tell you more about this home page, because every time you come to our website, it should look a little bit different. All of the content that you see here kind of changes. So the top banner here will bring you to a different page. Normally, every time we try to highlight normally our big event that's going on or a big exhibit that's happening. Or in this case, we have a virtual exhibit that is that was put together by a larger consortium of different museums and historical institutions, along with our executive director, Frank Lipo, and our board member, Sarah Doherty, who worked on this project. If you haven't already taken a look at this virtual exhibit, I highly recommend it, talking about housing and different issues across the nation. And then once we get to these colored boxes here, these are usually events or different resources that are currently happening. So we'll frequently have different events, changing up these bars to show different events. And also I will highlight, this is where you can normally find links to all of our past virtual programs, getting very meta here, because once this program is recorded and put on our YouTube channel, you will be able to click on this box and find it again. So this, again, is usually a little bit more updated, a little bit changing, probably every time you come to our website. But especially at the bottom here, these features are constantly rotating. So they should be highlighting different stories every time you come to this website. And you see we've got a bar that highlights hometown legends and a bar that highlights this month in history. So these are both stories that are related to different people in our community or different interesting things that have happened in our community. And again, to draw you in, they rotate every time you enter the website. But if you click on view more for either of these, as my example, I'm going to do this month in history. When you click on view more, it will take you to a page where you can find all of these stories. And these, along with the hometown legends, we try to add pretty frequently new stories. We have a lot of great volunteers, some of whom are on the call today, that research and or find different stories that highlight interesting things in our community. And we try to update and add new things to these pages. So this is something that you can come back to and hopefully find something that you hadn't seen before. Again, just highlighting different interesting stories or people that have lived in our community. So I'm going to go back up here to the home page, and I'm going to take you on a tour of some of these tabs. I also should highlight that while I'm up here in this direction, we've got some information, useful information, if you are looking for visiting the museum and you just need to know what our address is, or if you're looking for our phone number, if you're looking for our Twitter or Facebook pages, you can find that straight up at the top. And I think on the bottom as well. But I'm going to take you through these tabs and highlight some different things that you may or may not have clicked on before. So visit, I will not click on because it takes you to our visit page. This is also the same page that it takes you to if you click on plan your visit over here. And that again is if you are coming to the museum and you need more information on how to get here, or if you are looking for our hours or any COVID restrictions, any sort of updates on information like that in order to come to the museum, that is some information for you. I'm going to spend some time looking at this next tab, events and exhibits, because these pages are ones that I would recommend that everybody sort of bookmarks or comes back to pretty frequently, because these ones are usually changing, always important information. So clicking on this calendar here, you can see a variety of different things that we have going on this month, normally just events that will be happening. Here you can see that we have 3 events happening this Saturday, so I will probably plug those by the end of the program today, but a busy Saturday coming up for us. And you can see all of those events listed out on this calendar. Then, if I were to click on any of these events, it would take you to a specific page that tells you more about that event. So for instance, this Saturday, we have an event being held at Wonderworks Children's Museum for family and friends of all ages to play with some vintage toys. Now, I found that by clicking on the calendar, but you can also find some things like this by clicking on events. So if you go to this page, this gives you some nice views of the specific events that are coming up here. And they're organized by month. You can run down and see some pictures of what the event would be and a snippet of information about each of them. So kind of get a good lowdown on what's happening at the museum or around town with us. And then for exhibits over here is a very interesting page, because here we give descriptions of all of our current exhibits, sort of our bigger exhibits. At the museum, we have a lot of different little things on display, different cases that highlight specific smaller stories or specific interesting things. But for the larger sort of curated exhibits that we have here, we usually have a description that is highlighted on this exhibits page. So you can see the current ones, and you can also see past ones. And this is kind of a interesting sampling of different stories that we've told at the museum over time. For the case of Oak Park River Forest Museum, our current location, as well as when you get farther down to see different exhibits that we had on display when we were at Pleasant Home. So this is highlighting some of our organization's history and showing some different stories that we've told over time, some pictures of things that are in our collection that we maybe haven't had on display for a while or since. So that is a little bit of interesting, sort of like small versions of exhibits to at least get to know some of the things that we've had on display here. But I'm going to take you back up to the top, because in this sidebar, we also have online exhibits that are available here. And unfortunately, it's not really broadcast that that's what these are. So I want to make sure that you all on the call know that these are virtual exhibits or online exhibits that you can look into and find a lot more content about these things in particular. So we have 4, as you can see, and I'm going to pick on Proud Oak Parkers, because if you were looking through this list with me of our past exhibits at the museum, we had a display about the 30th anniversary of the founding of Opalga Plus. That was in the end of 2019 and the beginning of 2020. That was a display that we had at the museum. And then once it closed, my colleague Elizabeth Nichols and I turned that into an online exhibit here. So you can find that by clicking on this. And once you open this up, you can see a description of what that exhibit in person was like, and then some content from that exhibit that we've made virtual. So you can go into these separate pages and find an online version of this exhibit. And the same with these other couple of things that you see here. Now, I'm going to move on to our next tab up here. And I'm going to give you all a chance to look at how many resources we have under Explore and Research. So these pages all give you a sense of different pieces of information that you can find just about the community available on our website, or you have some pages like Research at the Museum that tells you more about things that you'll find if you come in to do research. Also, you can see our Hometown Legends, which again was on our main page. And if you click in here, you can see all of the different people that we have highlighted with biographies and stories. We have also teacher tools for people who are teaching at the local schools, or maybe you're homeschooling or tutoring, any sorts of things that you might want some help with students looking at local history. We have some resources on here that kind of help give you some things to look at with your classes, or some things to look at if you were to come to the museum. I'm going to click on this last tab that says Our Newsletter, because I want you all to know that if you are a member or a donor with us, you usually receive a quarterly newsletter from us in the mail. And it's a beautiful newsletter laid out by our board member, Kurt Etchingham. usually including a lot of different stories from other volunteers and upcoming things that are happening in the museum that season. So besides having the printed version mailed to you, everybody is able to access those newsletters on our website after they are published. So you can see this long, long list of all of our current, since 2015, I think we have all of our newsletters available here. So any sorts of stories that you sort of vaguely remember reading in our newsletter, those should actually be searchable. I think these populate if you search on our website, or I've also found them if you search on Google. Just looking at, I can't even think of an example, but a person's name that we did an interesting story on at some point. I remember Googling that and it came up with this copy of the newsletter. So these are all available on PDFs and you can click on each one and look through it. So I think that's a really cool resource. I'm going to take this opportunity to look at this sidebar here, because on each of these pages that I've gone into, you can see we have some different information available on the side. And these again are just pages that we're sort of highlighting of different kinds of information that you may not already know is available on our website. So like the newsletter, you can click on this to come to this page that we're seeing here. Research at the museum, again, is a page that will tell you more about the process that you'd go through if you were researching anything here. In the bottom, we've got a couple of unique pages, and I think I will take the opportunity to click on this one, but I'll tell you first that we have a historic plaque program. If you do research on your house and you wanted to put the date that it was built and some pieces of information on a plaque, then we have a program to do that. And we have a page here that will tell you more about that process. But uniquely so, I'm going to click on this tab that says 360 Virtual Museum Tour. So this is a series of photos, panoramic photos that were taken by Jeff Jenkins, a local artist. And he has JX3 Gallery, his business, where he's done this for other local locations and I think some other places around town, maybe in the Chicago area as well, where he will take panoramic shots of a building and you can sort of drag and drop and zoom and out zoom and really get an interesting experience of the place that he has taken these photos of. So he has taken a set of photos all around our museum and you can sort of get a really cool virtual tour that way. So that's available on our website as well. Now I'm going to come up to just a couple more things. One really cool resource up here under museum shops is not only our history store, where you can find event tickets and t-shirts, books, all those sorts of good things, but we also have a photo store. And I want to click on that so you can see that this is something that was set up through Zenfolio, a different website. So I think it's going to take us hopefully to a different website, or I think it's working on it. And we have uploaded some scanned photos from our collection from different time periods and everything. And these are available to browse. They have information about each of the photos, and they're also available to purchase. So you can purchase prints of any of the photos that you see here in Like directly from this website, and they will send them to you. So this is something to explore, I think, if you have not before, is again, a lot of different time periods, a lot of different sorts of photos that are all in our collection. So not even just to get prints if you're interested, but just to see some different examples of our photo collection. Now I'm going to go back to our main website and take you through just a couple more things. On join or give, we have a lot of opportunities if anybody is looking for information about volunteering at the museum or donating either monetarily or items for our collection, as well as planned giving if you are looking for information about how to plan future giving. But I'm going to click on join because I want you all to know that this page is available if you're interested in joining us as a member or renewing your membership online. We still usually send out letters to people who are currently members to remind them to renew their membership. But if this is an easier way to update membership, this is also available. And lastly, I'm going to look at the tab here that says about, and under here you can see all these different tabs: the story of our museum, the story of the Historical Society, our mission, and our staff and board. You can see different descriptions of all of this, but I'm going to click on Rent the Museum because one opportunity that you may or may not know is that we rent the museum. So if you are looking to have a different experience for an upcoming event and you think that this space would be a good space to hold that, we have some information about how you can rent the museum for your party or meeting or any sorts of things like that. So that's some information for you. That is about all the time I have today. And I hope that this has given you a sense of all the different sorts of information that you can look at about our organization and about our museum, as well as some unique content that you can't get anywhere else but here. So with that, I want to open up to questions. If anybody has some questions about what you have seen, some questions about what you have not seen, or to mention again that we are looking to update this website. We last designed this website about 4 years ago, and in the world of technology, that's already well outdated. So we're going to make some updates and possibly some changes as well. And I invite you all, if you have maybe some quick comments today, to say anything that you would like to see new or different on a future version of our website. Feel free to sort of throw those in the chat box for me, or after the program too, if you want to get in contact with me, please feel free to do that. Actually, at the bottom of our page are a couple of things, including my email address. So if you see that here, you can find my email on our website and you can send me your recommendations. So I have one here. It says, have you thought about putting some of the collection catalog online? And I love that because we have thought about it. And this website kind of gets muddy with being able to put pictures or what are called finding aids. So we have, actually, I think somewhere buried in this website, we have a page that has some sort of lists of different collections that we have in the museum. So thinking about, we have the collection from the 19th Century Club, we have the archives from the League of Women Voters, and different sorts of organizations and businesses that house their archives with our museum. So somewhere on here, we have even just a list of those, which is helpful for researchers to be able to know what they can find at the museum. But we definitely need to expand that again, so people who are interested either in doing research here or maybe looking for resources elsewhere can know that we are a resource, that we have this and that. Next question is, can I come back to this Zoom to review it at a later time? And I want to point out here, since I'm on the web, since I'm on the home page here, I want to highlight this box that you can see says virtual programs on demand. And if you click on this box, this takes you to our YouTube channel. And that's what I would point you towards, because once this program gets recorded, I will upload it to our YouTube channel. And you can find all of our past virtual programs there as well. So we do at least one monthly virtual program, and all different sorts of topics, usually an interesting story, usually an interesting guest speaker, but some other sorts of deep dives into our collection. So that's where you would be able to find this as soon as tomorrow. So I think this is almost my time here. So I want to leave this program with that today. And I want to thank you all for joining me here, hopefully finding some interesting things that you hadn't seen before, and getting your minds working, especially on things that you would like to see from us in the future on this, our virtual museum. And that's really what we hope, is that our website is an interesting experience in and of itself, to be able to be a resource that you can come back to and find something interesting every time. And celebrating all of the different stories and things about our community. So with that, I will thank you all for being on the call here today. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you all next time.